Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome to 4th and 25 with yours truly. It is our final show before we get some FBS football going this weekend. We got history being made on this show today. We got our first ever guest in the house. And it's a special one because many of you know that face just by looking at that camera. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the pride of South Carolina Nation. He is the founder of CSV. He was the man who recruited me like a madman to do a show.
Really did.
Andrew, how you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
Oh, man, we are good. Had to get me some coffee. That's why I was a little late, but I had to get a little pick-me-up to get started. Oh, shoot. So, first things first, how are things going over there in your part of the woods over there in good old South Carolina, right?
Yeah, South Carolina for sure.
Now, you originally are from the Alps, correct?
From the Appalachian Mountains, yes.
Yeah, from the Alps. For some reason, I've always just called it Alps for some reason. But yeah, okay. So, originally from the Appalachian, and you are now in South Carolina. So, okay, got a couple of questions for you.
So you're aware the Appalachian Mountains are also in South Carolina?
My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding, part of them go through, is it South Carolina, North Carolina, maybe Tennessee and Virginia? Is that correct?
Georgia, West Virginia, like that. It's a big Kentucky. So yeah. I'm actually from like the South Carolina, North Carolina border part of the Appalachian Mountains. So. I don't live in there no more. I'm further south now, but yeah, man, the Appalachian Mountains, man, that's my home.
Mountain man. Sure. Are you in Columbia or what part of South Carolina?
No, I'm in the upstate, up by Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, you're close to, is it East Carolina? Are you close to ECU country?
No, East Carolina is over by the coast in Greenville, North Carolina. So it's
okay.
Yeah. So Greenville, North Carolina is over by, like by not too far from the ocean. I'm like in the western part of South Carolina, like almost at the Georgia border in the upstate.
Oh man. Yeah. Maps are some pretty places. I love the Smokies and being up there in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. We'll be there again in December after the season for our honeymoon. I mean, not honeymoon, for our 1-year anniversary trip. There's just something about that part of the country. It's so freaking pretty up there.
It really is. I've lived here not my whole life. I've lived a lot of places, but this is definitely when you walk out the crisp mountain air, it doesn't get better. No, sir.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so. I know you're a man with a schedule and you got things coming, so we'll try to not take you too long. First question for you. So you were the guy who started this whole CSV, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So what led to that, if I may ask, or was there just what was the inspiration to that? Or was it just something you wanted to do? Was there something how'd that come about?
So really, it kind of came about like. I'm like, all right, I'm seeing all these pages and I'm looking, and then a couple of people on there were like, we're making money on this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at their product and I'm like, man, I could do so much better than they're doing. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're making crazy claims back in the day, and I was like, man, these people, I mean, they got all these interactions and they say they're making money. I can do better than that. Right. So I was like, and plus, I love football because originally I made a couple pages, made a video game page, a pro sports page, and a college sports page. I'm like, I'm gonna delve into these, right? So I made them all, and I made a Braves page. So my Braves page was monetized, my college sports villains was monetized, and then I got hacked a couple years ago, and Facebook eliminated them, said you can't have them no more. So I had to start all over. So basically, I was like, I love to do it. I love sports. Like, I love it so much. And I can make some money on the side by making stupid little memes and funny little videos. And it worked. It just worked. So then, like, people started noticing, like, hey, that's some really cool shit. Like, hey, you want to collab with me? And I'm like, sure. The more the merrier. And then next thing you know, now there's like 7-8 podcasts. And we've got a vast network of people. And it all starts right here. And I just, it's cool. And we got a good group of people, them. And just branched out, and I got some really talented people, and that's why my show is little sports now, but mostly movies, music, and all that. Variety show is my show now, because you guys do sports better than I do. And just like I was looking at them, I can do sports better than them. You can do it better than me. I enjoy food, movies, and music, so I'll just make sports a part of my show. And I'm just ever growing, I guess, is what I'm saying. And but yeah, you guys do sports better than I do. So I just kind of bowed out of that game. I talk a little college football because I don't even speak about sports outside of college football season. At all. Complete variety show, no sports outside of. But now that college football's back, that's my love, man. That's my favorite thing in the world. So we will be talking more about it. But yeah, that's how it got started.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, I've always said ever since you've been around and I've seen your show, I've always said if you ever just want to get hungry, watch this man's show.
Yeah, for sure. I love food.
Yeah, we are both from a part of the country very well known for its cuisine.
Sure.
All right, so I ask this to people all the time when I interact with people from other fan bases. How did you get, what made you become a Gamecock? Did you follow, was it like your dad's thing? Was that you just caught on and seen them and like, okay, that's my team? Or is that a generational thing? How'd you become a South Carolina fan?
So I was, 4 years old, and I Braves baseball was something we watched. I remember it was like 1985. I'm 4. I just got kindergarten, and my grandma watched it when I spent summers with my granddaddy and my mima. They watched it. My mom watched it. My dad watched. Huge Braves fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was probably 4 or 5 at some point, and then like college football came on. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, man, this is the greatest thing ever. I absolutely love this. So then I asked my dad, I'm like, hey, who's our team? Like legit, just like that. I mean, like I still have that memory.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, we're Gamecock fans. He said that's who we like. So that is the origin story of how I've let them break my heart for 45 years.
Dang, very relatable. Sounds like me with Ole Miss. Oh man, I understand. So you were you was it before your time, or were you able to see their one Heisman winner play, George Rogers?
No, that was a little before my time. George Rogers, he won the Heisman 1980. I was born in 1981, so. Yeah, that was. I know I'm old, but I'm not that old. So no, I actually missed that part of it. Never got to watch him play personally, but I did get to watch Sterling Sharp in a Gamecock uniform when I was a kid. So him and Todd Ellis were my first memories of South Carolina football, and I miss George Rogers by a little bit.
Man, so you've been through. Let's see, Jadeveon Clowney,
Yep.
Stephen Garcia.
Yeah.
Lattimore, Marcus Lattimore. That's right. Or let's say Lattimore, to name a few. So you've seen some good ones, though.
Oh yeah, Stephon Gilmore. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey, John Abraham, Hayden Hurst, lots of great Gamecocks over the past. So yeah, man, I've been around, and like I've never wavered. Even when we lost 21 straight games in 98 and 99. Watching every game, just mad as hell, tears coming down, just but that's my team, and I got to do it.
I never forget when Lou Holtz was the head coach there, and y'all broke that losing streak. I don't remember who it was, but it was a Thursday night game, I think, and they won. And I think it was some small school, but I remember them winning and your fans storming the field, and I was like, "Holy crap! They're so happy for them. They finally broke their losing streak."
Oh, yeah. It was New Mexico State. Yeah. And then the very next week, we broke the 18-game SEC losing streak, beating Georgia. So I have very vivid memories of that. Like, I was just like, New Mexico State came in. We ain't won a game since Ball State, very first game 2 years ago. And we just torched them, bro. Like, we gave the ball to Derek Watson, and there wasn't shit they could do about it. And, he just ran down their damn throat, and it was really cool stuff. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I remember that. I remember it very vividly.
That was the first of two straight Outback Bowls. I
Yeah,
think were they both against Ohio State.
they sure were. We beat Ohio State in back-to-back Outback Bowls. That is factual.
Man, what a time that was when our schools could beat Ohio State.
Right, right. Yeah, no, for sure. You know, I think I think those two wins really, really caught the attention of Steve Spurrier, and that's why he saw that and he's like, "Man, you can do this at South Carolina." He knew Lou Holtz wasn't going to take it to the pinnacle. He was old, and he was just trying to stabilize our program from what Brad Scott had done to it. And so, yeah, without those back-to-back wins over Ohio State, we never get Steve Spurrier.
Oh man, that was some peak years. What was there was one year he got y'all. I think y'all were 11-2 maybe, and you finished number 4 or something in the country.
3 straight years, we finished
Great.
11-2, and we were top 5 all 3 years.
Man, them were some good years. Good years for you guys.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so I mean, I know you've obviously been there. Do you have a favorite memory or a moment that in Gamecock football that you've always enjoyed or always cherished? Like, was it a certain game? Was it a certain play, like when Clowney took the Michigan guy's head off in the bowl game a few years ago?
I like that one. But if we're going, I guess favorite memory at a live game. We were at it was during the Spurrier area, and it was South Carolina at Clemson, and I think we were ranked like 11, and they were ranked like 6.
Okay.
So and I think they were like a 3-point favorite at home. So it was kind of just a pick'em game anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went because I live real close to Clemson, bro. Like I'm like 45 minutes away, and
Oh, okay.
and I was like, I'm going. So I called my buddy. I have a buddy named Eric, huge Ohio State fan, by the way, and him and I went to that game, and and we had beaten Clemson 4 straight times too. So this would have been the 5th in a row, and right the end, Connor Shaw got injured, and I was like, man, and so Dylan's. Not Dylan Stewart. Dylan Thompson. Dylan Thompson came in, man, and he torched him. Clowney set the actually, Jadeveon Clowney has the Clemson University Death Valley record for sacks. He still holds that. Not a Clemson player who's played there for 100 years. Clowney, he had 5 sacks that game. And Dylan Thompson threw 4 touchdowns to Bruce Ellington, and we beat Clemson for the 5th straight time. And I was there live, and I think that's probably my favorite game memory. Yes.
Oh man, like that's all. That's awesome. There was one that comes to my mind. I don't remember exactly the year. You can refresh my memory on what year it was. But Bama came into y'all's house and y'all beat them.
Yeah, they were number 1.
Yeah, number 1 in the country.
Yeah, it was 2011. Stephen Garcia was like something like 20 of 22, 3 touchdowns. Alshon Jeffries had 3 touchdown receptions. Marcus Lattimore ran all over the place. Man, we were all over the quarterback. And everybody talks about how big of an upset that was because Alabama's number 1, and for sure. But if you go back and you look, we had Jadeveon Clowney, we had Stephon Gilmore, we had Melvin Ingram, we had Alshon Jeffrey, we had Marcus Lattimore. We were not the underdog. And we finished 11-2. So why that's like, oh my God, such a big, upset. In reality, that team that we had, if the college football playoff existed back then, we may have won it all. Like that was a very talented team, and we shouldn't have been the underdog.
Yeah, exactly. I remember because Greg McElroy was Bama's QB, and he, I think he was almost in tears because he was so sad he lost that game because he's not used to losing.
Yeah, sure. Bama ended up losing 3 that year.
That's right. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they weren't even near the national championship.
No.
So obviously your stadium has in my opinion, a great reputation. A lot of people, myself, including guys like the great Josh Pate, said Williams-Brice is one of the more. Hey, Michael, welcome in, buddy. He said he thinks Williams-Brice is one of the most underrated venues in the country. He thinks it does not get the respect for the environment it is. As somebody who's been there, give us what it's like to be there for a game.
So yeah, it's consistently in everybody's top 10. It is very underrated. So like Gosh, I've been there so many times. So when Sandstorm itself comes on, it is actually the second loudest football stadium in America. I don't know if you saw when ESPN did that ranking. There was only one stadium that had ever been louder. The stadium actually sways and when we beat Missouri a couple years ago, it literally registered as an earthquake on the Richter scale. People don't understand what it's like. Like you cannot even hear beside you. And then all the tile, it is an unbelievable experience. You're talking to a guy. I've been to Tennessee, been to Alabama, I've been to Auburn, I've been to Clemson, I've actually been to Mississippi State. I've been to Florida, I've been to Georgia, I've been to all the big dogs, and this is I can say this with no bias whatsoever. It's just one of the best. And that experience is it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And even when the team is not good, 4-8 last year, I promise you, every single seat in that stadium was full.
Great. That's what we call a loyal, passionate fan base. They're through ups and downs. They're up there through the good and the bad. Like I know one other one. This was a road game for y'all, but many people probably don't even remember this now, but the first college football game after 9/11 involved your Gamecocks. They came here to Starkville and played state.
Yep.
I don't know. It's so crazy because obviously being an Ole Miss fan, Mississippi State usually doesn't make me smile too much, but the scene at that game was insane just because it was a reminder that America was back and we were not gonna fall to this. But it was just such a great show of patriotism. What do you remember about that night?
So I actually took that night off of work. I will get with you after the show and get more particulars as to why, because I had to come back to shore, but can't really discuss that right now.
Oh, okay.
And so I came back to shore, like that Tuesday or something, and I saw that it was on because I hadn't been able to watch any that year because of reasons, which I'll tell you after. And so it's the first football game I've got to watch all year, and it was so emotional, and we ended up winning that game, and
yep.
It was, my eyes were filled with tears, and it was just something I really loved. It was I remember every minute of it.
That was a very emotional night. That was back, in my opinion, when ESPN had the best theme music for football at the time.
Sure, they need to go back to that by far.
Absolutely. All right, last question on South Carolina, and then I got a couple more for you real quick. Obviously, last year was obviously disappointing with the 4 wins, but you bring Sellers back, you bring Stewart back. There's still some talented pieces. What is, I guess my first question, what's the vibe around the program, and what is your expectation for this coming year?
So if we're being honest with ourselves, right? So South Carolina was 4-8 last year, and 5 plays could have made them 8-4. That's how it was. The offense under Mike Shula was abysmal. He should have never had the job. He didn't want the job. A lot of people don't know that. He didn't want the job. He actually turned it down.
Okay.
And, our AD at the time, Ray Tanner, who is the worst athletic director we've ever had. I absolutely hate the guy now, even though he won us 2 natties in baseball. Absolutely hate him. He ruined all the programs, men's basketball, everything. He can go kick rocks. I don't love him no more. And they were going to bring in Art Browse because Shane Beamer says who he wanted. He told him, no, I'm not spending the money on the football program. And
wow.
And you saw what happened. And then so now you enter Dante, and he's like, yeah, bro, we're all about it. I'll get you who you need. And you got Sellers out there. You got Nicholas Harbor out there. I mean, Dylan Stewart, that is a talented team. And they lost. I mean, if South Carolina would have scored 21 points a game, they would have been 8-4 last year. People need to understand that. And Art Browse is considered a top 3 offensive coordinator in the nation. I have high expectations, not crazy expectations. I'm not expecting the college football playoff, but I am expecting an 8-win season. And the buzz is high. Talent is there. And I know a lot of people, South Carolina 4-8, but if you don't know football and you don't see this talent there, you're going to get slept on and they're going to come beat you. So I think 8 wins is my expectation. 6 wins is what it's going to take. just to build the program higher because recruiting classes are well or whatever. But I think South Carolina doesn't hit 8 wins. We see a new football coach in Columbia next year.
Yeah, I was kind of going to lean into that. I was wondering what was your thoughts on Beamer's job security, but that kind of takes care of it.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So I think you poked these out a little while back on the group on CSV, but I'm going to run through these real quick for you. Just tell me who you like, and we're going to go through the Power Four leagues. I think this one's probably the easiest because I think everybody's unanimous on it. But ACC, Miami's to lose.
Here's the thing. Miami lost a lot. Let's not get it twisted. I still think they're one of the best teams. It's Miami's to lose by every like professional out there. But I mean, for me, I'm not sleeping on Clemson. I think Clemson goes to Miami and loses that game, but I think Miami may slip up and lose too. It's either going to be Miami or Clemson, because if you look at Clemson, that they're still 5 stars everywhere, and they used the transfer portal this year, and I think got a top 15 transfer portal class, first time they've ever used a portal. Well, that makes Clemson dangerous.
Yeah,
it makes them dangerous. So Clemson or Miami, but until Clemson can prove that they're out of this lull, give me Miami.
Yeah, absolutely. I always wondered, I said, is there ever going to come a day where Dabo is going to catch up and use the portal? Looks like he finally said, all right, I'm using it.
He did, and they got a top 15 class, and that makes Clemson dangerous.
Absolutely. As far as in that league goes, I always like to ask for just a dark horse or a sleeper team. They may not contend for the conference. They might have a good year. They might just wreck somebody else this season. Like, for example, I don't know what it is about Pitt this year, but Pitt has my attention in the ACC for some goofy reason. Do you have a team you think that could cause some chaos?
I don't think Pitt's it. Pitt just got brutalized in the transfer portal.
They did.
I don't think they're going to be a very good team. For me, it's NC State or Virginia. Like, both of those teams are very good.
Virginia's always overlooked.
They are, and they play week 1. So, or week 0, they played this weekend. So I will tell you after this weekend which team is going to be my dark horse. It's one of them too. Both of
whoever wins,
are very good.
Whoever comes out of it, week 0. All right. So we'll go over to the wildest, probably the most unpredictable one of them all. Who comes out of the Big 12?
I mean, if it's not Texas Tech, then you need to fire everybody on that squad. Have you seen that roster they put together against the Big 12? No reason Texas Tech doesn't win that by far. And the dark horse on that, Houston or West Virginia, because Rich Rod put together a quick, very good transfer portal class, and I'm excited to see what West Virginia can do. But they're not beating Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, like if Texas Tech doesn't win the Big 12 and make the playoffs, it's a failure because they've just spent way too much money. A nice call on West Virginia, because that's actually who I've got as the sleeper dark horse, because I love that they got Cam Cook from Jacksonville State out of the portal. I think he's gonna thrive well in Rich Rod's offense.
I agree.
All right, so the Big Ten. Who you like in the Big Ten? Is it Ohio State? Is it Oregon? Is it Indiana? Who you got?
So it's Ohio State. Ohio State's the best team in the country. Make no mistake about it. There's 1 and 2 than everybody else, but we'll get to 2 because I'm assuming that's the next conference. Indiana's not sustainable. It's a good story what they did, but they're not going to outspend these other programs. You're going to see Indiana still win about 8-9 games a year. I don't expect them to be playoff year in, year out like Ohio State. I'm going Ohio State. I think they're the best team in the country. Not only that, they added like the #1 transfer portal class already on a team that should have beat Indiana, missed 2 field goals in a meaningless Big Ten championship game. Brutalizes Miami if they play again without all those turnovers. Ohio State's the best team in the country. Dark horse wise, man, you're going to have to give me Michigan, because what they did in the offseason is just amazing. Like Michigan, even with all their troubles, was able to do that. So I guess money talks.
Absolutely. And plus, to be honest, and you know how I felt about this one, Kyle Whittingham and Michigan, I love that combo.
It's beautiful.
I think that is a very, very nice combo. All right, last one. Obviously, our beloved SEC, Georgia, or you got somebody else?
It's Georgia and everybody else. Texas would be number 2 in my opinion right now, but I mean it's Georgia. Like if you go and you look position by position, they have out of 22 starting positions, offense and defense. I think ESPN said they had 18 where their backups were 5-star or blue chip recruits. They're backups. And they won the portal game. I think they were a top 6. I think they were 6 in the portal. And Kirby Smart's already got 2. Georgia and Ohio State and everybody else, bro.
Absolutely. Anybody in the All right, what about a dark horse or a sleeper out of the SEC?
If I'm going a dark horse or a sleeper, and it's funny to say this, but I'm going to go with Alabama.
It's so weird.
It's weird to say that, but Alabama's still riddled with 5 stars everywhere. They got a favorable schedule, unlike Kentucky. My God, who did they piss off? But they got a favorable schedule this year. Alabama's my dark horse, but it's Georgia, Ohio State, and everybody else, in my opinion.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, when you talk about the schedules, Kentucky and Arkansas, I don't know what they did to make the SEC so mad.
No crap, bro. That is wild. Like Arkansas was pretty brutal too. I'm looking at it and like Kentucky's schedule. Where'd it go? I hate when it does that. My CSV freaks out. Kentucky's got Ole Miss, South Carolina, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Alabama, Missouri.
Brutality.
They're not winning any of those games.
And that's what a first-year coach, poor Will Stein.
Right. Yeah. Now, they're going to win 2 wins this season, maybe 3 if they can sneak up on somebody.
And they also got Louisville, and we know Louisville's gotten a lot better in recent memory.
Yeah. Look, I've got them losing to Louisville. I've got them at 2-10. I actually released Kentucky's schedule today on CSV.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's okay. All right, last question, and I'll get you out of here. Last question for you. I'm not going to ask you to do a bracket because I know it's kind of hard and it's be kind of quick. Just give me, I know 2 of them, but give me a Final Four and which one of them 2 is going to win the Natty in your opinion?
I think it's going to be Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, and gosh, it's so hard. That fourth one is it's just so much unknown. I don't think LSU is going to be it. LSU may be on probation before the season's over with everything.
Absolutely.
LSU has always been a nasty university full of deceit and all that. And I'm glad to see they're finally getting their upcomings. And that's not bias. That's just facts.
Facts.
Give me.
I know you want to say Notre Dame. Just kidding.
Notre Dame's going to be a fine team. Their schedule works out well for them. But if everything goes according to plan, give me Texas Tech as that 4th spot because they spent $53 million on their roster. They're going to come into the playoffs healthy because none of the starters are going to start the second half in any of these games. Kind of like Clemson did when they were running theirs. They played nobody. Their starters never played in the second half. They came into the championship game fresh and it showed. So give me Texas Tech as the 4th team. I think the national championship is going to be Ohio State and Georgia, which I hope it is because we deserve that. And I have no idea. As of right now, I would lean Ohio State, but my preseason national championship is Ohio State.
I hope you do better than I did last year because this idiot last year had Penn State and Clemson in the championship game, and you see they both ended up in the Pinstripe Bowl.
So I had Penn State and Clemson both going to the Final Four. So it ain't nothing crazy. Those teams should have been better than they were. Nobody could have predicted Clemson was going to get 9 injuries in the first 2 games. Like, we don't talk about that. We're just like, Dabo sucks and he fell off. When you have 9 starters injured in the first 2 games, well, that tends to happen. Penn State just quit on their coach. Just screw you. We don't like you and we're not playing. So, that's kind of my theme for Virginia Tech too. That's why I'm not mentioning them. I mean, if he's doing that to a program, I don't have a lot of faith in him in this moment.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, look, I know it's going to be time for you. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on. And if you want to, give a quick plug for your show.
Yeah, for sure. And you're invited on tonight if you get time too. So we got Villains the podcast is what it's called. It's on tonight at 8:30. It's going to be on College Sports Villains. It'll be on my X, USC Fan 981, which has become a major account, by the way. So I love all of you out there on X land. You made my account special, and I know y'all get really mad when I trash Dan Marino, but he's not a top 10 quarterback, so you're just gonna have to deal with it.
There you go, brother. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you, and thank you so much for joining me, man.
Hey, man. Anytime I'm usually off on Thursdays, so anytime I'm more than happy to come on.
All righty, man. Well, I will definitely keep you on the list. So, thank you, man. You be good and stay safe out there.
See you, man.
See you, man. All right, guys, that was my interview one-on-one with Mr. Andrew Anderson, the head of College Sports Villains. Appreciate him coming on for a little bit to talk some ball and tell us a little about himself and his love for South Carolina. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's season preview time. We're going to do the Power 4 leagues, and we got a lot of stuff to get into. See you guys in a second. All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25 with Jram. All right, so let's do our Power 4 previews. We got week 0 picks. We still got a lot to get into. All right, so we're going to start with the Big 12. Let's do the Big 12. Okay, so last year Texas Tech pretty much steamrolled the conference with the exception of Arizona State and beat BYU in the championship game 37-7. Kalani Sitake, one of my favorite coaches at BYU, he was the coach of the year. Our players of the year, offensively, was L.J. Martin, the BYU running back. Defensively, Jacob Rodriguez of Texas Tech was your defensive player of the year. Really good linebacker. They had 8 postseason teams. Going 4-4 in the postseason. Let's see. Cincinnati lost the Liberty Bowl. TCU won the Alamo Bowl. Arizona lost the Holiday Bowl. Houston won the Texas Bowl. Arizona State lost the Sun Bowl. Utah won the Las Vegas Bowl. BYU won the utterly entertaining Pop-Tart Bowl. And Texas Tech, of course, the big dog, made the college football playoff as the champion. They would lose in the Orange Bowl to Oregon in the quarterfinals. Okay, so players to watch in this league. Of course, with these leagues being so big, I decided to do 2 guys at each group as far as the main groups. A couple of quarterbacks, Devin Dampier of Utah. He had over 3,200 yards of offense last year, 34 touchdowns, 24 of those passing, 10 rushing. Noah Fafita, Arizona's QB, he's back for one last run. Feels like he's been in Tucson 8 years. He threw for 32-28 last year, 29-6. Touchdown INT ratio. Some running backs. L.J. Martin at BYU, one of my favorite backs, over 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. Cameron Dickey of Texas Tech, great running back, 1,100 plus, 14 touchdowns. Some receivers, in my opinion, the best receiver in the league, Amari Thomas. He's from Houston. He's back after a 67-catch, 966-yard season with 12 touchdowns. And TCU receiver Jordan Dyer, 54 catches, 730, 7 touchdowns. He's a guy to watch. I put a tight end on this list because this is a really good tight end. Terrence Carter, he's at Texas Tech. He had over 552 last year, 5 touchdowns. On the defensive side, some guys to watch. We got, of course, a nice bevy of Texas Tech players. Let's see. A.J. Holmes, he's a defensive tackle. He had 38 tackles last year, 4.5 sacks, 9 for loss. Linebacker Austin Romaine, he comes from Kansas State to Texas Tech. Very good portal get. He had 66 tackles last year, 7 for loss. I think he'll be a great addition to their defense. Maybe a replacement for Jacob Rodriguez. Ben Roberts, he's back after a 90-tackle season last year. Also had 10 passes deflected. In the secondary, James Johnson of TCU, strong safety. He had 96 tackles, 3 for loss, and 5 interceptions. TCU, of course, is in action Saturday. We'll pick that game in a little bit. Wendell Gregory from Kansas State, he's on here. He had 4 sacks last year at Oklahoma State, 27 tackles. DB Evan Johnson of BYU, 47 tackles and 5 interceptions last year. Very good DB for the Cougars. Okay, non-con games to watch. So in the Big 12, I made note of these games. Obviously, this coming Saturday, we got North Carolina, TCU, and Ireland. Is it going to be a good game? I don't know. We'll see. Next Thursday, a week from tonight on my birthday, Colorado's at Georgia Tech. Will it be as good as last year's? Oh, no. We ain't got no Haynes King, but it'll still be solid. We do have Alberto Mendoza playing in that game. September 5th, Cincinnati's going to be hosting Boston College that day. Not many people are going to care about that game, I know, but it kind of brings back old Big East vibes. Might be a good game. Also, September 5th, Baylor, Auburn, and Atlanta could be good. We'll see what happens. I'm very excited to see what Auburn's going to do. And then September 11th, our Friday night game, Missouri at Kansas, the Border War. They'll be playing for the second straight year. Sucks they don't play every year, but at least they'll be playing this one in Lawrence. Last year, Mizzou clobbered them. September 12th, there's actually a nice list here. I've got 5 games. UCF at Pitt, Iowa State, Iowa, the Cyhawk Trophy, great series. Arizona State at Texas A&M, sounds good. We'll see. Arkansas at Utah. I'm so sorry, Arkansas. And then Oregon at Oklahoma State. This game was horrible last year. It was 66-3 up in Eugene. Kind of led to Mike Gundy's firing, but I don't think it'll be 66-3 this time. And then also September 19th, Virginia and West Virginia. They'll be colliding up in Charlotte. I like that matchup. And then October 17th, Notre Dame at BYU. Okay, so conference games to watch. I kind of go overboard with these every year in these Power 4 leagues, but you just don't know what's going to happen. September 12th, Arizona at BYU. September 18th, a Friday night game, Houston at Texas Tech. I think this is going to be a big one in the conference race, but it's in Lubbock. September 19th, the London game, Arizona State and Kansas. I have no idea why we're playing a Big 12 game in London, but that's just my opinion. September 26th, TCU at UCF. Be careful, Frogs. October 3rd, BYU at TCU. Be careful, BYU. October 10th, a couple of games here. Houston at Kansas State. UCF at Oklahoma State. I made note of those. October 17th, I got one game, Oklahoma State at Houston. That, for some reason, screams fun to me. I don't know. Screams fun to me on October 17th when the Cowboys and the Cougars collide. October 24th, I think this is going to be a good one. Houston at Utah. Kansas State at Arizona State, also that day. October 31st, Arizona's at Texas Tech. Don't know how well that one will go for Arizona, but never say never. November 7th, BYU, Utah, the Holy War. I love this rivalry. It's one of my top 10 favorites in the sport. Also that day, TCU's at Arizona. Another tricky road game for the Frogs. November 14th, I got Utah at Arizona, Arizona State at UCF, and Kansas State at TCU. November 21st, kind of by itself on the highlighted games. Utah at TCU, that could be good. Remember when they used to collide in the Mountain West back in the day. Thanksgiving, November 26th, is TCU and Texas Tech in Lubbock. Little Thanksgiving football there. Arizona State at Arizona, November 28th. All right, so that's the conference games. All right, so 3 questions. Number 1, can the league do anything in the playoff? Can the Big 12 do something in the playoff? Look, Texas Tech looked amazing last year, but when they got into the playoff against high-level competition like they did against Oregon, they got humiliated. And that game was ugly. It was like 23-0. This league needs to win on the biggest stage. Texas Tech is probably your best bet with the best roster in the conference. I mean, my Lord, they spit, like me and Andrew just talked about, they spend a crap ton of money on that roster. So they need to win in the playoff. This conference does bad. Number 2, this is another Texas Tech thing. Do they use the tumultuous offseason as motivation? They're obviously embracing the villain role, that us versus the world mentality. Yeah, but they have a loaded roster. They're obviously, the offseason was, of course, marred by the Brendan Sorsby situation, and they caught a lot of crap for that. Well deserved, but it is what it is. Will they be motivated to prove everybody wrong, shut everybody up? We'll see. And then finally, number 3, tier 2 of the league, who all is in this group? Because to me right now, Texas Tech's at the top. BYU is right there with them. Maybe not quite as talented, but it's this year, good team. Second tier, Utah and Houston, Arizona, TCU. Is UCF and Kansas State going to sneak in there? We'll see. How good will Oklahoma State be in year 1 of Eric Morris? I think they're going to be good, but I don't know if I'm putting them in tier 2 just yet. Okay, predictions. Who's my dark horse team? You heard me talk about it with Andrew. I like West Virginia. I also like Oklahoma State, but we'll just highlight West Virginia. Rich Rod, great portal class. We'll see if it delivers. They got a manageable potential schedule. Player of the year in the Big 12. Despite the roster at Texas Tech, I'm going LJ Martin of BYU, the running back. I think he has a big year, 1,000+ yards again, maybe 1,300+. And as far as the Big 12 championship, I'm picking BYU. I'm picking BYU to win the Big 12. And that is my champion for the Big 12. Okay. Let me see if I can get this air on real quick, and then we're going to do ACC preview. Get some air in here and get a little hot. There we go. All right. Big ACC. Season recap. So Duke beat Virginia in a crazy ACC championship game, 27-20. Virginia got in the right way, but Duke got in because of a stupid tiebreaker. But hey, they won, to their credit. The coach of the year in the league was Tony Elliott of Virginia. Did a great job. He won 11 games. Player of the year, give me Haynes King. Oh, not a prediction. He was the player of the year. Haynes King, the quarterback of Georgia Tech. All right, bowl playoff teams. The ACC sent 11 teams to the postseason. First conference to ever not send their champion to the playoff, but they sent a team. So here's their postseason recap. Cal lost the Hawaii Bowl. Wake Forest won the Dukes Mayo Bowl. NC State won the Gasparilla Bowl. Louisville won the Boca Raton Bowl. Clemson lost the Pinstripe Bowl. Pitt lost the Military Bowl. Georgia Tech lost the Pop-Tarts Bowl. SMU won the Holiday Bowl. Virginia won the Gator Bowl. Duke, the ACC champion, won the Sun Bowl. And then, of course, Miami, as we all remember, made the playoff and went on an amazing run as they won in the first round of the playoff. They beat Texas A&M. Then they would win the quarterfinal at the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. That one surprised a lot of us, I think. And then they won the semifinal at the Fiesta Bowl, beating my Ole Miss Rebels. And then they lost the national championship game to Indiana, going 9-5. Okay, players to watch. Obviously, the big story here is Darian Mensah, the quarterback of Miami. He comes from Duke. 39-73 last year, 34-6 touchdown interception ratio. C.J. Bailey of NC State, he threw for over 3,100 yards, 25-9 touchdown pick ratio. From the running backs, Isaac Brown of Louisville, 884 last year, 7 touchdowns, 8.8 a carry. Mark Fletcher of Miami, this kid's really good, had 1192 last year, 10 touchdowns, 5.5 a carry. From the receivers, you got Malachi Toney, obviously. He opened a lot of eyes last year as he ran for he caught for 12-11 and 10 touchdowns, averaged 11 yards a catch. Other receiver I put on here, Bryant Wisco of Clemson, 537, 6 touchdowns. I think he battled some injuries last year. Over on the defensive side, you got a couple of D linemen here. Clev Lubin of Louisville, 61 tackles, 8.5 sacks, 5 pass breakups and tackles for loss, and 7 QB hits. And then this is a very hard name to pronounce, but Melkart Abu-Jaadi. He's a defensive lineman in North Carolina, 47 tackles last year, 10.5 sacks, and 5 quarterback hurries. Probably the highlight for Bill Belichick's team. Linebacker room, Sammy Brown of Clemson. I may know to him, this guy's a tackling machine. 107 tackles last year, 5 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss, 7 pass breakups, 6 quarterback hurries. And another linebacker, nobody's going to pay attention to this guy because of the team he's on, but Matt Rose of Stanford. This guy is another phenomenal tackler. 106 last year, got 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups, and 3 QB hurries. A couple of DBs, Ashton Hampton of Clemson, 47 tackles, 11 pass breakups, a pick, 2 tackles for loss. And then Bryce Fitzgerald of Miami, really good safety. He is back, 16 tackles last year, 2 pass breakups, 6 interceptions. Really good. Non-conference games to watch in the ACC. This coming Saturday on week 0, we've got 2 I made note of. Of course, North Carolina, TCU, we just talked about it. And this game, not many people are going to really care or probably talk much about it, but they had a great game last year. Does it come down to the end again? It's about Hawaii and Stanford. Gives us something to watch. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. September 3rd, we talked about it, Colorado, Georgia Tech. September 5th, goes on in the ACC as far as non-con. BC and Cincinnati. Obviously, the big one in Baton Rouge, Clemson and LSU. That's going to be a huge game. And then a little later that night, UCLA and Cal. It's so weird calling that a Big Ten ACC game still. But that's the world we live in. September 6th, Sunday night, Ole Miss, Louisville, and Nashville. That's going to be a great game. I think it's actually a lot closer trip for Louisville fans. I know it is than Ole Miss fans, but it should be a great game. September 11th, a Friday night game, Rutgers at BC. And again, this is another one of those I know not many people are going to care about except us traditional diehards. Be cool to see the old Big East foes collide. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Like and subscribe to 4th and 25 on YouTube. September 12th, UCF Pitt, Duke at Illinois. They've had some good ones lately. Tennessee at Georgia Tech. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. You've got a new quarterback for Tennessee, but he's got a great nucleus around him. They've got a good defense. You don't know what Georgia Tech's going to look like. That should be fun. September 19th, we got West Virginia, and Charlotte. We got Virginia Tech at Maryland. Obviously, Florida State at Alabama. You know Alabama fans have got that one circled. NC State at Vanderbilt. Sneaky good game, maybe. Right now, I'm a lean to Vanderbilt to win that game. But be interesting to see where Vandy is by then. Very excited for them. November 7th, obviously, maybe the biggest game of the season. I don't know. Miami at Notre Dame. This is going to be huge. That game is going to be wild. It's going to be epic. November 21st, SMU at Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame will win, but SMU, they're okay. They're not bad. November 27th, this is Black Friday. You got Florida State. We'll see where they are by the end. Is Florida State tuned out? Is Norvell fired? Who knows? November 28th, Louisville at Kentucky. And then, of course, South Carolina and Clemson. All right, conference games to watch. I'm going to run through these as quick as I can. Week 0, this coming week, NC State, Virginia. Labor Day, the 7th of September, SMU, Florida State. I'm very excited for that game. September 19th, SMU at Louisville. Is this for second place in the ACC? Will this determine who gets Miami in the championship game, maybe? We'll see. September 25th, Clemson's at Cal. Clemson, be careful out there on the West Coast. Cal ain't no slouch. October 2nd, Pitt at Virginia Tech. I like that one. October 3rd, here's a triple header for you. Louisville and NC State. Be careful, Louisville. Virginia at Florida State. Can Virginia beat Florida State 2 straight years? And Miami at Clemson. There was a time that game would be epically hyped, but we'll see where Clemson is. Maybe they beat LSU. Who knows? I doubt it, but who knows? October 9th, Florida State at Louisville. Good Friday night game, maybe. October 10th, Virginia Tech at Cal. Another one of them. Be careful on the West Coast games for an ACC school. October 17th, I've actually got 4 of them on here. North Carolina, Duke. This ain't basketball, but this is still a good football rivalry. I'm always going to give them some respect. Florida State at Miami. Remember when this game was nationally relevant and it was like always a top 10 battle? We'll see, but it's probably not going to be pretty for the Noles. Also on the 17th of October, Georgia Tech, Virginia at SMU. October 24th, we got Virginia Tech at Clemson. Duke at Virginia, ACC title game rematch. Pitt at Miami. October 31st, Clemson at Florida State. Another one of those potential games. We'll see. They used to be great. Okay, November 7th, Clemson's at Syracuse. Virginia, y'all know Syracuse has been a thorn in Clemson's side. That's why that game's on here. Virginia Tech at SMU. I think that one has the potential to be sneaky good, but we'll see. Louisville at Georgia Tech. November 13th, Florida State at Pittsburgh. Just realized, I think this is Florida State's 5th game on their schedule that's not on a Saturday. That's wild.
November 14th, Duke at Miami, Georgia Tech at Clemson. Two great games. Georgia Tech and Clemson was a thriller last year. Duke and Miami not going to probably get a lot of credit, but it is Darian Mensah against his old team that he bailed on. Just saying, for more money. November 21st, Stanford and Cal, great rivalry. Virginia Tech and Miami. Do we slowly get back to that being a big deal? I hope so. North Carolina at Virginia, the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Also that day, Pitt at Louisville, maybe a good game. Clemson, Duke. Can Duke beat Clemson 3 straight years? That would be insane. They had a great one last year that Clemson shouldn't have lost, but they did. And then 2 more games on the 28th of November. NC State, North Carolina, great rivalry. Virginia Tech, great rivalry. Okay, 3 questions for the ACC. Number 1, is this the year for Miami to break their drought? They've never won the ACC since they've been in it. Do they get over the hump? Well, last year they surprised some folks with that run to the national title game, but this time they won't. They're super talented. Miami is loaded top to bottom. Yes, they're rebuilding in the trenches. They did lose some guys, but Miami recruits really well. They work the portal well. And look on that offense. You got Darian Mensah at QB. You've got Fletcher at running back. You got Malachi Toney and Cooper Barcade, who's a Duke transfer at receiver. He comes up with Mensah. On the D-line, you got Amon Moten in the safety, Brian Fitzgerald. Miami's loaded. This is a great opportunity. Maybe this should be the year. Number 2, is this Mike Norvell's last ride? Does he survive the season? I do think it's his last ride. I'm not going to and I hate talking like that. I don't wish this on anybody, but it just feels like he's on borrowed time. Because if what I understand, Florida State was not able to afford his buyout. That's when he came back. That's just what I've heard. Not saying that's true. Expectations and excitement for Florida State are not very high from what I've been reading and garnering. And look on that schedule. They have to go to Alabama, Miami, Clemson, and Pitt. Maybe I'm a little high on Pitt. I'm sorry. But it's going to be tough for Florida State. There's the over and under win total, I think, 6.5 or so. All right. And then number 3, can the league get 2 playoff teams? Best case, here's your hopefuls. SMU, Louisville, and Clemson. Whoever faces Miami in the ACC championship game does not need to have 2 losses. They need to come in with 1 or no losses, which I don't think is going to happen. Because if you go in there with 2 losses and you lose, you know you're not going. It's going to be tough. I think they've got a really tough battle with the depth of the SEC, the Big Ten, and plus Notre Dame. It's going to be hard for the ACC, I think, to get 2 playoff teams. Okay, predictions. Player of the year. You could easily go with Mensah, but I'm going to go with Malachi Toney. I think he's going to have a really, really big season catching the football. My surprise dark horse team, Andrew, I apologize to you. I told you the wrong team. My dark horse sleeper is Cal. I do think Pitt might surprise. They may not. But I do like Cal here. Love their quarterback. He's got good weapons around him. Tosh Lapoy, first-year coach. He's back at his alma mater. Cal's a mid-level, mediocre team, but I think they'll have a solid year. And then finally, who's going to win the ACC? My opinion, the easiest of the Power 4 leagues as far as just predicting. I think they're in a league of their own in this conference. Give me Miami to win the ACC over SMU in the championship game. All right, I'm going to catch my breath real quick. I'm going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to hit our other 2 conferences in just a second. So see you guys in just a minute.
To hate, Andrew Anderson, stating truth that just can't wait. Got a podcast, like a punch right to your face. College sports villain, taking it over the place. I bring the facts whether you like it or not. Dropping truth bombs, giving it all I got. They call me a villain. Well, I wear that badge with pride. Nothing but secrets they try.
It's still working. We're still working. Okay. That's good.
Rebellious to the core. I won't back down. Won't take it anymore. The bad guy of the podcast world, that's me. Unleashing the truth, setting it all free.
All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25 with Jram. All right, so 2 down, 2 to go. Let's look at the SEC preview. Last year, Georgia would win the title, beating Bama in the title game 28-7. Coach of the Year, Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, did a wonderful job. Player of the Year, offensively, of course, Diego Pavia, Vandy's QB. And last year, your defensive player of the year was Cassius Howell of Texas A&M, really good defensive end. Postseason, the SEC had 11 teams. 5 of them went to the college football playoff. 6 of them went to bowl games. Mississippi State would lose the Duke's Mayo Bowl. They had a 5-win season, but they went because there weren't enough 6-win teams, sadly. But, hey, it is what it is. LSU lost the Texas Bowl. Missouri would lose the Gator Bowl. This was a rough year for the SEC. They went 4-10 in the postseason. Missouri lost the Gator Bowl. Tennessee lost a close Music City Bowl. Vanderbilt lost the ReliaQuest Bowl. Texas would win a really good Citrus Bowl, beating Michigan. Oklahoma, and as far as the playoff goes, Oklahoma and Texas A&M would lose in the first round. Alabama would beat Oklahoma in the first round, but then they would get to the quarterfinals where Indiana molested them in the Rose Bowl. Georgia got a bye but lost in the Sugar Bowl in the quarterfinals to Ole Miss in a classic. It was a really good game. And then finally, the SEC's torch carrier, at least in the playoffs, was Ole Miss. They won in the first round of the playoffs, beating Tulane. They beat Georgia in the quarterfinals at the Sugar Bowl and then lost a heartbreaker to Miami in the Fiesta Bowl. Trust me, that one pains me to think about. But ended up 4-10 overall in the postseason. Make sure I don't forget nobody. Okay. Players to watch in this league, as far as some QBs, obviously Arch Manning and Trinidad Chambliss is where we start. Arch threw for 3163, run for 399, 10 scores, 26-7 TD pick ratio, so 36 total. Played amazing in the second half of last season. I think he's going to carry that over to this season. Thank you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Trinidad, of course, 39-37 passing, 22-3 touchdown pick ratio. Run for 527 and 8 touchdowns, 66.1 completion percentage. A couple of running backs. Obviously, Keywan Lacey of Ole Miss, 1567 last year, 24 touchdowns. He's back. Ahmad Hardy of Missouri, 1649 last year, 16 touchdowns, 6.4 per carry. He will not play in their opener against Arkansas Pine Bluff, as y'all probably know by now. He's still recovering from a gunshot wound. Hopefully, will be back at some point this year, and if he is and fully healthy, it'll be special. But wishing him the best. Hopefully, he can be back. A couple of receivers: Mario Craver at Texas A&M. He had 917 last year, 4 touchdowns, 15.5 yards a catch, 59 catches. Another receiver I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but I'm going to give him some respect. Isaiah Sategna of Oklahoma, 67 catches last year, 965. 8 touchdowns, 14.4 per catch. On the defensive side, I'm going to mention a player from his program that you're not going to hear a lot about because they've been so bad lately. They have a new coach. How about Quincy Rhodes of Arkansas on the defensive line? 44 tackles, 8 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss last year, and 6 quarterback carries. Best player on the Arkansas Razorbacks, point blank. Hey, Terry, you got a question? Let's see what you got. Will they be bowl eligible? Yes, I think they will. I have predicted them. I've got them 7-5. I settled with 7-5. I think they're 4-5 in the Big Ten. Yeah, I think UCLA will get to a bowl eligibility. I feel really good about UCLA. Let's see. Okay, Quincy Rhodes of Arkansas. Dylan Stewart of South Carolina, my guy Andrews, star defensive lineman. He had 33 tackles last year. 4.5 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss, 8 quarterback hurries. A couple of linebackers. Really good linebacker. Xavier Atkins out of Auburn. One of the few guys left from the past regime. He stayed. He trusts Alex Golish in his program. He comes back with 84 tackles last year, 9 sacks. Really good. 6 tackles for loss, 7 quarterback hurries, and a pick. Also, Kip Lewis of Oklahoma. 76 tackles last year, 4 sacks. 6.5 tackles for loss, 4 pass breakups, and 5 QB hurries. And then a couple of guys in the secondary from the SEC. Bray Hubbard of Alabama, potential All-American at safety, 79 tackles a year ago. 6 pass breakups and 4 interceptions. And then Georgia's Ellis Robertson, another really good player. He had 20 tackles last year, 7 pass breakups, 4 INTs. Okay, as far as non-con games to watch in the SEC, September 5th, Baylor Auburn, Clemson LSU. Clemson LSU is obviously where most of the eyeballs are going to be on. September 6th, Louisville Ole Miss. I think that might be the only top 25 matchup this opening weekend. Not sure, but Louisville Ole Miss will be huge on Sunday, September 6th. Friday, September 11th. We kind of touched on this one, Missouri, Kansas. September 12th. This is a pretty good non-con slate for the SEC. You've got Arizona State at Texas A&M. Don't know what that's going to be like. Sounds good. I'm afraid Arizona State's kind of going this way, but we'll see. NC State. No, wait. I'm sorry. That's next week. All right. September 12th. Arizona State, Texas A&M. Arkansas, Utah. Sorry, Arkansas. Sounds good. Tennessee's at Georgia Tech. And these other three, it's SEC versus Big Ten. This first one, nobody's talking about this game. But Mississippi State's at Minnesota. This is a solid matchup that could, for some conference bragging rights. And this game could go either way because Mississippi State, I think, is going to be improved, even more improved. Minnesota's a solid team. Good quarterback, good running back. If you have not seen Anthony Smith on the defensive line for Minnesota, he is a beast. Really good football player. 12.5 sacks last season. Oklahoma at Michigan, rematch of last year in Norman. Very excited to see that game. And then, of course, the biggest one, Ohio State at Texas that night. Does Texas get payback? I don't know. Should be fun. September 19th, NC State at Vandy. Florida State at Bama. Like we talked about, Bama's got this one circled. You know they want revenge. And then, of course, the last week of the season, Black Friday, the 27th, Florida at Florida State. And then the 28th, you got Louisville at Kentucky, Georgia Tech at Georgia, South Carolina at Clemson. Okay, so conference games to watch in the SEC. I went way overboard with this list. Y'all bear with me. Y'all know how tough the SEC is. Y'all know how much we love it. September 12th, Alabama's at Kentucky. Now, I know you heard Andrew. He doesn't think very highly of Kentucky this year. And I understand. I get it. But what if Bama goes in here and loses? DeBoer's seat is going to get hot. It will get hot quick. It's already somewhat hot. But if they go in here and lose to Will Stein in Kentucky, who has a really good portal class, oh boy. Okay, September 19th, we got 2 games. Florida at Auburn. Nobody's talking about this one because of the other one I'm fixing to mention. But John Summerall and Alex Golesh, great SEC clash of first-year coaches. And I'm just so glad to see Florida play Auburn again. It feels like it's been 30 years. Also, September 19th, this one needs no introduction. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's LSU and Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's return to Oxford. Probably better have the National Guard, and every media outlet and sports media outlet in the freaking country is going to be in Oxford. It's going to be a madhouse. September 26th, there's actually 4 games on here. Texas A&M at LSU. Where's LSU off the Ole Miss game? Ole Miss at Florida. Where's Ole Miss off the Florida game? And Ole Miss struggles in Gainesville. I'm not going to have that. Texas is at Tennessee. Arch gets a very good late September SEC road test in Knoxville. Tennessee's going to be rocking for that one. And then, of course, Oklahoma at Georgia. First time ever, I think, in Athens. That's going to be fun. October 3rd, Auburn at Tennessee. Another one that hadn't been played in a long time. Looking forward to that. Florida at Missouri. Florida could be in this game at 4-0. Do not sleep on the trip to Mizzou. Now, we'll see what Mizzou's like. Alabama at Mississippi State. Good to see this one again. There's a chance. I'm throwing this out here. What if Mississippi State's 4-0 going in this game? They got Monroe, Minnesota, South Carolina, and Missouri before this. There's a chance they're 4-0 hosting Bama. I'm not saying they're going to be, but there's a chance. Bama better be careful in Starkville. Them cowbells are going to be ringing. October 10th, Georgia at Alabama, of course, monster game. It'll be huge. DeBoer's got Kirby's number when it comes to the regular season. Now, the SEC Championship, another story. Also on the 10th, you got South Carolina at Florida. It'll be good to see those two again. And, of course, the Red River Shootout, not known by no other name. It always will be the Red River Shootout. Oklahoma and Texas. It's in Dallas. October 17th, Florida at Texas. You know Texas is going to have that one circled. Also that day, Missouri's at Ole Miss. Is Austin Simmons still Mizzou's QB? If he is, coming back to Oxford. That'll be interesting. Alabama at Tennessee. That's going to be a huge game. Very huge game. Tennessee's won the last 2 in Knoxville, by the way. Also that day, Auburn and Georgia, Deep South's oldest rivalry. We'll see where Auburn is by then. October 24th, real quick, Ole Miss at Texas. You have a great quarterback battle potentially with Trinidad and Orange. Texas A&M at Alabama. I like it. And then LSU at Auburn. I have missed this series. I'm so glad to see LSU and Auburn finally again. And then October 31st, Auburn at Ole Miss. Florida and Georgia, the cocktail party. Yes, I'm still calling it the cocktail party. It is in Atlanta this year because the Jaguar Stadium is being renovated and worked on, so they will not play in Jacksonville this year. It's actually in Atlanta. Appreciate the love emoji, whoever hit that for me. November 7th, oh my God. So you got Texas A&M at South Carolina. Andrew said Terry Walker, none. Oh, man, that was funny. November 7th, Texas A&M's in South Carolina. You know South Carolina would love to get payback for what happened last year. Oklahoma at Florida, I'm warning the Sooners, be careful. Alabama, LSU, we know how special that one is. And then Georgia at Ole Miss, you know Georgia is going to be having payback on their minds. And then November 14th, I'm going to tell you why I put this game on here. I put South Carolina at Arkansas. Andrew, I love you, brother. The Gamecocks better be careful. Arkansas is not going to have many chances to win an SEC game. Not saying Arkansas is winning this game, but who knows where we are by then. Tennessee's at Texas A&M. Ole Miss is at Oklahoma. Ole Miss has won the last 2 against Oklahoma. It's been very comforting. No offense to OU, but can they make it 3 straight? I don't know. I think Oklahoma's going to be pretty good. And then finally, November 14th, Texas at LSU. That has got to be a primetime game. Please put that under the lights. November 21st, Texas A&M at Oklahoma. LSU at Tennessee. The Lane Kiffin Road Tour continues. He goes to Oxford and he goes to Knoxville. I hope they'll probably have the mustard bottles and golf balls ready for him. Appreciate all y'all checking me out. Thank you for the viewers. And then November 27th, Black Friday, the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Regardless of records, we don't like each other. You know how that rivalry goes. It's in Oxford. And also Texas at Texas A&M. I'm so glad that one is back to being every year. Sure missed it. November 28th, the Iron Bowl, Auburn and Alabama. Does Alex Golish gets his first taste of the Iron Bowl? Where's Bama by now? Are they out of the playoff race? Are they fighting to get to the playoffs? Who knows? And then Tennessee and Vanderbilt, I think this series has upticked recently thanks to Clarkley and the wonderful job he's done in Nashville. I think Vandy pummeled Tennessee last year, if I remember correctly. They might get them again here. So we'll see. All right, 3 quick questions for the SEC, and then we'll move along here. Number 1, what will the first year bring these 5 new coaches in the league? Now, Pete Golden is on here. I don't know if you call him a first-year coach because he did coach in the playoff last year. But Golden, great run. Quarterback, running back are back. Several pieces are back on the defense. Can he capitalize with this team? Because a lot of good players came back from last year's team. Now, you do have a new offensive coordinator, couple of some new faces on the offensive staff, but there's familiarness, I guess. But can you capitalize? Because this is probably Ole Miss's last chance to do something really good for a little bit, because 2027 looks like a big rebuild. All right, the other 4, Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas. What does year 1 bring him? Main thing for him is trying to make Arkansas competitive again and get Razorback fans excited about football again, because from what little I've seen, their fan base isn't sure on him from what it sounds like. But can he get him competitive again? I hope he does, because Arkansas is a great fan base. They deserve success. They've been starved for it. But we'll see. This year, the goal for Arkansas should be win an SEC game and be more competitive. The other 3 coaches, Will Stein at Kentucky. He brings in an excellent portal class, great offensive mind from Oregon. He learned from a great one in Dan Lanning. I'm interested to see where Kentucky goes long term. This year might be a little tough, but long term, we'll see. Alex Golish at Auburn brings a buttload of players with him from South Florida. He brought his first 2 quarterbacks from South Florida and several other guys. Already looking promising, but obviously he's already said it. They got a lot of work to do. Of course, John Summerall at Florida. It's no secret. I'm a big fan of John Summerall's. I've been following him since he was at Troy and at Tulane. Dude is a proven winner. I love his mentality as a head coach. I love how he's already gone in there and left his mark on the culture of Florida football. Now, can he be a winner there? That's the big question. Tough, hard-nosed. Yeah. He's got some really good pieces at running back, receiver, on the defensive side. A little worried about the offensive line. Obviously, the quarterback is not settled. They did name Aaron Follow the starter. Really tough schedule, but very excited to see him. And then finally, of course, what does Kiffin do in his first year at LSU? Push aside all the crap that's been going on this week with the portal, NFL players coming back. Push that aside. $40 million plus roster and lots of attention, eyeballs, expectations. LSU fans are expecting him to win a title now. And with all the money that they're giving and what they sold their soul to do in football, I get it. So, pressure's on you, Kiffin. Pressure's on you. But what will they bring? I think there's going to be some success, and I think there will be some difficult bumps on the road for these coaches. But very excited about the new coaches in the league and their jobs. But, of course, which one I hope does the best. All right, number 2. Can Georgia make a run in the postseason? In the 2 years of the 12-team playoff, Georgia's 0-2. They've not won a playoff game since we've gone to this 12-team format. They're not the only one. Indiana's the only one that's been able to conquer that demon. But I like what Georgia brings back. You've obviously got that raging bull, Gunnar Stockton, at quarterback. Love that kid. He is awesome to watch play. They have, of course, talent everywhere. They're great on all 3 phases of the defense. Their running back room is really good. They're like 6 deep at tight end. Receiver room is the only one there's really no familiarity or certainty about. So we'll see about that. Their SEC slate's a little more manageable in some areas, but also tough. If there was a year for Georgia to get on a run in the postseason, I think it's now. But they want to win the SEC. They want that bye. You should want that bye. But we'll see what Georgia does. And then finally, number 3, the quarterbacks in this league, obviously Arch, Trinidad, those are your top 2. It seems like everywhere you look, and I agree with that. After those 2, who's the next best quarterback in the SEC entering the year? Is it Stockton? That would probably be my lean. But Gunnar Stockton, is it? I did put Sam Levitt on here, but is he going to stay healthy? He missed the pretty much second half of Arizona State's season last year. Hang on here for me. Hang on just a second. Marcel Reed of Texas A&M had a really good year, but he could be so hit or miss at times. John Mateer of Oklahoma, he's coming back from injury. He did have an injury last year. I think it was his hand, and but he came back and he was not the same. But you got Stockton, you got Levitt, you got Reed, and you got Mateer, and you got Sellers. Hold on just a second, y'all. Just a second. I got to plug this thing up. There we go. All right. Hope y'all can see me. All right. So, and now predictions. Who's going to be the SEC Player of the Year? I'm going to go with Arch. I think he's going to have a great year. Dark horse sleeper team. I kind of fumbled around with a couple of these teams, but give me Florida. I think they're going to leave a mark in year 1. SEC championship. I'm going to take Georgia over Texas. Okay, Big Ten preview. Let's go to the Big Ten. Last year, of course, Indiana was the story of them all. They had an amazing run, beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Kirk Cinetti was Coach of the Year. Player of the Year was Fernando Mendoza, Indiana's QB. Defensive Player of the Year was Caleb Downs, Ohio State safety. Playoff bowl teams, they had 12 of them, 11-5 record. Indiana, of course, won the Rose Bowl, the Peach Bowl, and the national title game. Oregon won in the first round and then won the Orange Bowl in the quarters, losing and then lost the semifinal to Indiana at the Peach Bowl. Ohio State went one and done in the playoff, losing the Cotton Bowl. Michigan lost the Citrus. USC lost the Alamo. Iowa and Illinois won their bowl games. Minnesota and Washington won theirs. Nebraska lost theirs. Northwestern won theirs. Penn State won theirs. Let's see. Players to watch in the league. Quarterback Dante Moore of Oregon, obviously 35-65 last year through the air, 30-10 touchdown pick ratio. Julian Sayin of Ohio State, 36-10 through the air, 32-8 touchdown pick ratio. He hit 77% of his passes. Pretty good completion rate. Running backs, Jordan Marshall with Michigan, 932, 10 scores. A running back in the Big Ten nobody's talking about. I'm going to give him some respect here. Antoine Raymond of Rutgers. This guy ran for 1241 last year and 13 touchdowns. Receivers, obviously Jeremiah Smith. He's the best receiver in the Big Ten. He had 87 catches for 1243 and 12 touchdowns, 14.3 a catch. Other receiver, another one, but KJ Duff of Rutgers, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. So shout out to him. And then on the defensive side, a couple of D linemen. Anthony Smith of Minnesota. I was just talking about this guy. 38 tackles last year, 12.5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 7 QB hurries. Also batted down 3 passes. Indiana's Tyreek Tucker, 40 tackles last year, 6 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 3 quarterback hurries. A couple of linebackers. Elijah Hardy of Indiana, 102 tackles last year, 8 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 5 pass breakups, and 4 QB hurries. Oregon's Titum Taoti. I'm so bad with these names. I'm so sorry. He had 68 tackles last year, 9.5 sacks for the Ducks, 6.5 for loss, 5 pass breakups, 8 quarterback hurries. And then in the secondary, Amari Farrell of Indiana, 48 tackles, 7 pass breakups, 4 interceptions. And Minnesota's John Nestor, 50 tackles, 6 pass breakups, and tackles for loss, and 6 interceptions. Okay, non-con games to watch in the league. UCLA at Cal on September 5th. September 6th on that Sunday, Washington State at Washington, the Apple Cup. Used to be a great rivalry. Wisconsin, Notre Dame. This game's probably not going to be pretty, but it's in Green Bay, Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. September 11th, Friday night game. Rutgers will be at BC. Talked about that earlier on the ACC preview. September 12th, holy crap, I got a list here. Oregon, Oklahoma State. Like I said, I don't think it'll be 66-3 this time. Iowa State at Iowa, the Cyhawk Trophy game. Duke at Illinois, Mississippi State at Minnesota, under the radar game. Very excited to see that game. And then, of course, the 2 big ones, Oklahoma at Michigan and Ohio State at Texas. And then September 19th, Colorado's at Northwestern. I know that game probably sounds miserable, but hey, it's something. Virginia Tech and Maryland. Obviously, we're all excited to see what James Franklin does. Maryland might surprise some people. And then Michigan State, Notre Dame. I don't know. I just threw this one on here because it used to be a big deal. They haven't played in a while, though. And then Big Ten conference games to watch. September 26th, UCLA at Maryland. I think that could be a sneaky good one. Wisconsin at Penn State. Is Wisconsin improved? This is a good proving ground. Iowa at Michigan. That might be a 14-11 game. Or it may not be. And then October 2nd, that's a Friday night. Penn State is at Northwestern. If y'all have not seen Northwestern's new stadium, the new Ryan Field, go check it out. It's freaking awesome. Looks great. October 3rd, Michigan at Minnesota, the Little Brown Jug. Washington's at USC that day. Ohio State's at Iowa. Be careful, Buckeyes. You went up there years ago and got your butt kicked by Iowa. October 10th, Indiana at Nebraska. This is one of those games. Could Indiana get caught looking ahead? Also that day, Iowa's at Washington, USC's at Penn State. That's going to be the whiteout game. That's going to be a lot of fun that night. And then October 17th, you've got Wisconsin at UCLA on here. Nebraska's at Oregon. Probably not going to be a great game, but it's Dylan Raiola against his old team if he gets on the field. Penn State at Michigan. That should be fun. And, of course, to cap off the 17th, Ohio State and Indiana. Biggest game probably ever in the history of Indiana football as far as in Bloomington on that field. That's going to be a madhouse. Cannot wait to see that. October 24th, USC's at Wisconsin. I don't think they've been to Madison since they've been in the Big Ten, so that might be fun. Oregon at Illinois. Be careful, Ducks. Champagne will bite you. Just as USC. And then also Iowa at Minnesota. Floyd of Rosedale. Love the pig, the bronze pig. That is one of the coolest trophies out of all the great rivalry trophies in this sport. October 31st, Washington is at Nebraska. Be careful, Huskies. Wisconsin, Iowa. That might be 13-6 written all over it. Ohio State at USC. That's going to be a spectacle. Big chance for Lincoln Riley there. Could he save his job? November 7th, Michigan State, Michigan. Pat Fitzgerald versus Kyle Whittingham. I love the coaching matchup. We'll see what the game's like. Also that day, UCLA goes to Minnesota. Early November. UCLA should be used to going over to the cooler East Coast and upper Midwest now. Be careful up there. But that should be a good one, I think, between UCLA and Minnesota. Also, November 7th, Penn State's at Washington. That's going to be good. And then, of course, Oregon, Ohio State. Need I say more? That's going to be crazy in Columbus. Huge game. November 14th, Illinois at UCLA. Michigan at Oregon. And also that day, USC and Indiana. That's going to be a great game. Should be a madhouse. Looking forward to it. November 21st. I only got one game on here. It's Indiana at Washington. Be careful, Hoosiers. Seattle is going to be could be very, very tough to play at. Black Friday, November 27th, Nebraska, Iowa, the Legends Trophy game. It's on here. And then finally on the 28th to close out, Penn State, Maryland. Maryland might get you, Penn State. USC at UCLA. Love the color matchup between those two when they both wear the home jerseys. That's going to be fun. Bob Chesney gets his first test of this USC-UCLA rivalry. Also that day, of course, in these rivalries, Illinois, Northwestern, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Paul Bunyan's Axe, another cool trophy. Washington, Oregon, they don't like each other. And then, of course, the game, Michigan and Ohio State. All right, real quick, 3 questions. Number 1, can Indiana sustain and contend annually? It's a good question. Andrew doesn't think they can. They have a great portal class. This year, they look really good in the trenches. They are rebuilding in a lot of things because they did lose a lot. And, of course, Signetti signed a new contract extension. He's going to be there for a while. If Mark Cuban continues to put money into his alma mater's program, I think that's going to help them too. So, can they sustain? We'll see. Number 2, does Lincoln Riley's seat get really hot? He's 35-18 at USC. No playoff appearances. This year, really good quarterback with Jaden Mavia, good weapons around him. Defense has gotten better. He brought Gary Patterson in as his defensive coordinator, former TCU coach, great defensive mind. And then finally, question number 3, or statement, whatever you want to call it, new beginnings at UCLA, Michigan, and Penn State. Matt Campbell pretty much brought Iowa State to Penn State. But they should look good. Their schedule is very manageable. Would not be shocked if they're a 10-win team. Kyle Whittingham at Michigan. I love the combo. We just talked about this with Andrew. Good QB, and good coach and program combo. Bob Chesney comes from James Madison to UCLA. Is he the next JMU coach to turn somebody into a superpower? We'll see. All right, prediction. Player of the year. I'm going to go Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State's receiver. My dark horse sleeper team, I stuck on Washington. Very well could be a top 25 team and could make a run. And then finally, who wins the Big Ten? I like Oregon. Give me Oregon over Ohio State. Notre Dame preview. This is going to be really quick. Last year, 10-2, did not go to a bowl because they got their feelings hurt because they weren't in the playoff. Players to watch: quarterback C.J. Carr, 27-41 last year, 24-6 touchdown pick ratio. Wide receiver Jordan Facian, 640 last year, 4 touchdowns. Drake Bowen at linebacker, 67 tackles, 3.5 sacks last year, 4 pass breakups. Cornerback Leonard Moore, 31 tackles, 7 pass breakups, 5 interceptions last year. Best DB in the country, if you want my opinion. The schedule is obviously getting ridiculed. I get it, but you play what you got. Key games. There's 3 games for Notre Dame that stand out to me. October 17th at BYU. Provo's not an easy place to play in. That's gonna be a challenge. Appreciate y'all checking me out. Thank you for watching. November 7th, we got Miami on there. That's at Notre Dame. That's maybe the game of the year in college football. We'll see. And then November 21st, nobody's really going to mention this one, I think, but SMU, good program. Rhett Lashly's doing a good job. Notre Dame, don't be careful. They'll overlook them. 3 quick questions for the Irish. You lose Jadari, you lose Price and Jeremiah Love to the NFL. Who's your new 1-2 punch at running back? They've got Aeneas Williams back, 224, 5 touchdowns, probably back 1. Kedron Young, he's back from last season. He was injured. Good short yardage back. Nolan James had like 37 yards. He had some limited action. And then you have Janess Walton and Javion Osborne. They were top 11 recruits in their class at running back. So they're still really good talent, just less proven at running back for the Irish. But they have the guys. I think Williams and Young are going to be the 1-2 if they can stay healthy. Number 2 question for Notre Dame, how great can the defense be? Oh, man, almost 30 viewers. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all. How great can the defense be for the Irish? Really good. 10 starters are back. They are loaded with depth and talent at all 3 phases of this defense. The secondary looks incredible when you got guys like Leonard Moore and such. I think Notre Dame's going to be really good. Number 3, final question. Can they take advantage of a very, very friendly schedule? They should be favored in at least 11 of the 12 games. I don't know about the Miami game. Too early to tell, obviously. But they very well could be. Toughest game, Miami at home. The other, and SMU's at home. But then the only road game with note is at BYU. That could be a big challenge. But very friendly schedule for the Irish. And then finally, my prediction for Notre Dame. I've got Notre Dame going 12-0. I think they're going to run the table in the regular season. I think they go 12-0, and they're the number 1 seed in the college football playoff. All right, I'm going to take my final break, and we come through here. It's time to give y'all predictions, my bottom 10, my top 25, and show you my playoff bracket and week 0 picks. We're going to fly through these. All right, here we go.
I will never be free now, my baby. No, no. You gave the promise.
Okay, that was not what I meant to hit, but that's okay. Up to 30 viewers. Appreciate you guys. All right, let's get into our rankings. We're going to start with our preseason bottom 10. This is my 10 worst teams in college football entering the season. Here we go. Jrams Preseason bottom 10. Number 10 is where I've got Middle Tennessee. They've been down for a little while. They might surprise this year in Conference USA. Purdue is number 9, the worst Big Ten program. Barry Odom's trying to get it going there to his credit. ULM, the Warhawks of ULM at number 8. Northern Illinois is 7, moving to the Mountain West. UTEP is number 6, also moving to the Mountain West. Number 5 is Sam Houston State. They've been struggling the last couple years. At least they're back in their home stadium finally. Georgia State, number 4, worst program in the Sun Belt. I think they're going to be in for a tough year. Number 3 is Charlotte. They've been bad. Second-year coach. We'll see if they improve. Number 2 is UMass. I think they're the worst program in the country. They need to be back at FCS. Preseason bottom 10. Number 1 is actually not a team. I'm going to have a little fun with this one. NFL guys coming back to college football because you know how I feel about that. Okay, that's Jrams Preseason bottom 10. All right, here is Jrams Conference Championship picks. One final time, I am picking, we'll start with the G6. I did these, of course, Tuesday on our G6 preview show. I got Western Michigan beating Jacksonville State in the CUSA title game. MAC, I got Western Michigan over Miami, Ohio. Sun Belt, I like UL Lafayette over JMU. Mountain West, I'm going UNLV over New Mexico. Navy is my pick in the American over UTSA. Pac-12 is Boise State over Fresno. And then in the Power 4, ACC, give me Miami over SMU. Big 10, give me Oregon over Ohio State. BYU over Texas Tech in the Big 12. And then Georgia over Texas in the SEC Championship. Okay, so let's see. Oh, all right. Sorry. And as you see, I got Notre Dame going 12-0. All right, let's do, before we finish out with our predictions, let's do our week 0 games real quick. I've got 5 games on here. We're going to do these as quick as we can. All right. We've got North Carolina and TCU on Saturday. This is an 11 a.m. kick from Ireland. They played last year. TCU blew the brakes off of them. I think that was Labor Day last year in Chapel Hill. North Carolina, year 2 under Bill Belichick. They're in a rebuild. I still think it's going to be a really tough year, but I think they'll be better. But TCU is the better team. I love the transfer QB from Harvard. They've got a good receiver. They've got some good guys on the secondary. They did lose one of their best DBs. He was kicked off the team, but there's still some good players here. So give me TCU to win that game. I'll take TCU over North Carolina. Game number 2 we're going to do, ACC. We got Virginia, NC State at 2:30. I think this is an ESPN kick also from Charlottesville. Virginia got Bo Pribula in the portal from Missouri. I think he's a good little QB to add. They got some good players that are back from the Gator Bowl team. Really good on the offensive line. NC State, you've got C.J. Bailey, a really good quarterback. He's been there for a while. Should be a good game. I think this might be a low-scoring game. But I'm going to go with Virginia at home here. Give me Virginia to beat NC State. Next up, let's do Jacksonville State and North Dakota State really quick. This should be a good one in the G6. North Dakota State, first game as a FBS school, hosting a good Jacksonville State team who lost some good players, though. I think they're in a little bit more of a rebuild. North Dakota State returns 5 starters on defense. They got some really good special teams guys. I'm going to take North Dakota State at home. I don't see them losing this game. So give me the Bison. All right. In the MAC, we've got Sacramento State making their MAC debut in a conference game. They are at Eastern Michigan. This is a 5:30 kick. I believe this is a streaming game. Yeah, ESPN Plus. Hornets, I think, are solid on defense from what I've been able to gather. But, man, Eastern Michigan's got a really good quarterback, Noah Kim. He's got some good receivers. I think they're going to be a nice little surprise in the MAC. I've talked about this Tuesday. I think they're a 10-point favorite. Okay, 9.5. I'm sorry. Give me Eastern Michigan to win this football game. All right, and finally, one more game. Really good G6 heavyweight fight, potentially. This is a late game, Saturday night. This is going to be on – sorry, I lost my schedule there for a second. 9 o'clock on Fox. You got Memphis. You got UNLV. Two really good – this is 2 of the G6's better programs. Memphis, obviously, in a rebuild with Charles Huff. He brought a lot of Southern Miss guys with him, plug and play. That's why I think Memphis is still going to be pretty good. But I'm very high on UNLV. I like the quarterback, Jackson Arnold. Maybe this is where he resurrects his career for his last year. I mean, it didn't work out at Oklahoma and Auburn. Maybe it'll work here with Dan Mullen. We talked about Jaden Thomas on Tuesday. Really good running back. Some solid pieces on this roster. I'm going to take UNLV to win this game. I think it's a close game, though. I wouldn't be shocked either way. But I'm going to take UNLV over Memphis. And that's the main ones. USC's playing San Jose. That's not going to be close. Florida State's playing New Mexico State. I don't think that's going to be close. Oh, I didn't put it on here. Crap. Hawaii at Stanford. That's okay. Great game last year. Stanford, new coach. Hawaii, explosive offense. I think Stanford's ready this time, though. Give me Stanford. They're a 3.5-point favorite, actually, at home. I think Stanford will pay Hawaii back and win this football game. So there you go. There's the week 0 picks really quick. TCU, Virginia, North Dakota State, Eastern Michigan, Stanford, and UNLV. All right. It is that time. Let's do our playoff predictions. Let's give you my bracket, and I'm going to give you my top 25. So here we go. My top 4 seeds. I've got Notre Dame number 1. Oregon's the 2 seed. I settle with Miami as my 3 seed. And then the 4 seed's going to go to the SEC champion, and that's the Georgia Bulldogs, because I think the SEC champion might have 2 losses this season. I would not be shocked if the SEC has a 2-loss champion. So that's my top 4. One last time. Notre Dame, Oregon 2, Miami 3, Georgia 4. Now, as far as the bracket, let's take a look at this bracket. All right. Hold on. Okay. right. Y'all bear with me here. All right, so 12 versus 5. This is Western Michigan, who is my G6 playoff team. I got them playing Ohio State. And then you see the 9-8 matchup is Oklahoma at BYU. And then on the other side of the bracket, I've got the 11-6 matchup is Texas Tech against Texas. Yes, I am predicting 2 Big 12 teams to make the playoffs. I think they both get in. And my 10-7 matchup is LSU and Indiana. All right, let's predict these things. First round, give me Oklahoma over BYU, and of course, give me Ohio State over Western Michigan. So that sets up 2 quarterfinal matchups of Notre Dame and Oklahoma, and Georgia and Ohio State. All right, other side, give me Texas over Texas Tech, and I really thought about LSU here, but I'm going to go with Indiana at home in Bloomington in December. Might be a little too cold for LSU, who knows? But give me Indiana. So your other side of the quarterfinals, Miami versus Texas, that would feed families, and then an Oregon-Indiana rematch. All right, now let's go and predict the quarterfinals. Starting here, give me Notre Dame over Oklahoma, give me Ohio State over Georgia, and then give me Texas over Miami, and give me Oregon over Indiana. I think Oregon exercises the Indiana Demons. So your final 4 is Notre Dame versus Ohio State, Texas versus Oregon, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm kind of skipping, but that's okay. As you can see, I have got Notre Dame beating Ohio State, and then I've got Oregon beating Texas. And in the national championship game, I'm taking the Oregon Ducks to beat the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So there you go. I like Oregon to beat Notre Dame to win the national championship. I'm calling for 2 Big 12 teams in the playoff. I'm calling for 4 SEC teams. And, yeah, so that's my playoff bracket. All right, final thing. Jrams Preseason Top 25. I will post this tomorrow on our groups. Florida's 25th. Western Michigan 24th. Clemson is 23rd. Iowa and Utah, that's through 21st. 20 through 16, Louisville, Houston, Penn State, SMU, Michigan. 15 through 11, I settled with Texas A&M, Alabama, Ole Miss, USC, Texas Tech. BYU is 10, LSU 9, Oklahoma 8, Indiana 7. I've got Miami 6. Andrew, I apologize. I know I told you I had Notre Dame number 1 a few weeks ago, but season hadn't started, so the door was open to change. Texas is 5, Georgia 4, Ohio State 3, Notre Dame is 2, and of course my national champion, Oregon, is the number 1 team. All right, guys. Oh, what a show. Thank you for the viewers. We got really good numbers there for a little bit. Appreciate everybody that checked me out, man. I almost didn't come on today. My heart's really hurting right now. But I persevered. I had to put my dog down today, my bulldog, MB. If you're a dog owner, cat owner, pet owner, you know how special fur babies are. And we had him for 9.5 years, and it was really hard to see that. But it was time. He was in such bad health, and I've been hurting, guys. I'm not running. I ain't had much sleep. It's been a very sad day right now. I'm so glad I was able to persevere and get through the show for you guys. Football's really been far from my mind right now because of him. And but I'm going to carry on as best as he would want me to. He knows his daddy loved college football. He watched many games with me. So, yeah. Guys, if you have fur babies, take care of them, love them, give them all the love that they deserve. Give them so much love and unconditional love. Pets are awesome. Dogs are awesome. Cats are awesome. Give them all the love, man. So I dedicate this show to you, MB. Love you, buddy. Daddy misses you. We'll be back on Tuesday with Week 0 recap and anything else that might come to mind. All right. We're going to get out of here with our Bible verse, as we always do. And again, thank y'all so much for checking me out. I appreciate y'all. Our verse of the day comes from Colossians 3, verse number 1. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Seek those things. Yes. All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy week 0. College football is back, baby. Let's have a great one. Everybody stay safe. Appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful day. And may God bless.